Have you ever looked at your reflection and not recognized the person staring back? Not because of age, but because of a quiet emptiness behind the eyes. You go through the motions. You do the work. You show up. But a voice inside whispers, "This is not the life you were meant for." Maybe you've tried to silence it with distractions, with busyness, telling yourself, "This is just how it is." But what if I told you that the key to waking up that dormant person, the real you, isn't found in a new job or a miracle, but in the silent, sacred hours before dawn? What if one woman's journey from invisible to unstoppable could be your blueprint? This is the story of a woman who rebuilt herself from the ashes, one 5 a.m. sunrise at a time. Listen closely, because her secret can become yours. In a sprawling, anonymous city of glass and steel, there lived a woman named Anya. Anya was a ghost in the machinery of a giant corporate firm. At 34, she was a junior graphic designer, talented but perpetually overlooked. Her days were a blur of muted Zoom calls, endless revisions from managers who couldn't articulate what they wanted, and pixel-perfect work that was credited to others. She lived in a small, neat apartment that felt more like a hotel room, functional, impersonal, quiet. Her social life had dwindled to polite chats with delivery people. Her passion for art, the vibrant, messy, soulful art she once lived for, was packed away in a closet like a forgotten childhood toy. Anya's greatest poverty was not of money, but of voice. She had become an echo of other people's demands, a tool for other people's visions. Her own dreams had been filed away under impractical. Every evening, she would scroll through art portfolios of successful illustrators online, their bold, unique styles a stark contrast to her sterile corporate work. A deep, aching envy would mix with a crushing defeat. They had something I lost, she'd think. Or maybe I never had it at all. Her weekly call with her father, a retired painter living in a coastal town, was the only thread to her old self. He would say, using his special name for her, "Are you still drawing from your soul? Or just from their briefs?" Anya would force a laugh. "The soul doesn't pay the rent, Papa." He would sigh, a sound full of ocean and regret. "A bird in a gilded cage is still a prisoner, my dear. Your wings are still there. You just have to remember how to use them." One Wednesday, after a particularly soul-crushing day where her entire campaign concept was presented by her director as his own, Anya broke. Not with tears, but with a chilling numbness. She walked to the rooftop of her apartment building, needing air. The city glittered below, a million lives buzzing, and she felt utterly disconnected from all of it. As she stood there, she noticed an elderly woman from a neighboring building on her own balcony, facing the eastern horizon. It was 4:50 a.m. The woman stood perfectly still, a silhouette against the deep blue sky. Then, as the first sliver of sun broke, she began to move, a slow, graceful series of Tai Chi movements. She flowed with the rising light, a picture of profound peace and power. Anya watched, mesmerized. This ritual, this daily communion with the dawn, seemed like the most authentic act she had witnessed in years. The next evening, on a whim, Anya waited near the woman's building entrance. When the woman returned from grocery shopping, Anya approached, her heart pounding. "Excuse me, I saw you this morning, on your balcony, at sunrise." The woman, who introduced herself as Lee, smiled with knowing eyes. "You are up very early, or very late." "I couldn't sleep," Anya confessed. "Your movement, it looked like you were speaking to the day before it began." Lee studied her. "You look like someone who has forgotten how to speak altogether. Come, have tea with me." In Lee's warm, art-filled apartment, a different world unfolded. Canvases of vibrant abstract landscapes leaned against walls. The air smelled of jasmine and ink. "I was like you once," Lee said, pouring tea. "A corporate lawyer, drowning in papers, dying inside. I wore suits that felt like armor. My spirit was shriveling." "What changed?" Anya whispered. "The dawn," Lee said simply. "I claimed it. The hours between 5 and 7 a.m. are not for the world. They are for you. The real you, before the world puts on its costume and starts shouting its agenda." Lee explained her sanctuary system. "For years, I was trying to find myself in the leftover scraps of time, after my job had taken the best of me. It was impossible. So I inverted my life. I made the first hours mine. The job gets the tired, compromised version of me at 9 a.m. But from 5 to 7, the artist, the thinker, the human gets the best. But I'm exhausted by 9 p.m., Anya protested. And I'm not a morning person." "You are whatever you decide to be," Lee said firmly. "Your body is a creature of habit. It will rebel for a week. Then it will adapt. You must be ruthless with your evenings. You must gift yourself the morning. She wrote down a simple, non-negotiable framework. The 2-hour sanctuary asterisk. Asterisk hour 1, 5 to 6 a.m. Reclaim your craft. This hour is for your soul's work. Not for client projects. For you. You will draw, paint, experiment with styles you're afraid of. You will fill a sketchbook with ideas that have no commercial purpose. You will reconnect with the why of your talent. Asterisk hour 2, 6 to 7 a.m. Strengthen your vessel, 30 minutes of movement, yoga, a walk, whatever awakens your body without breaking it. Then 30 minutes of feeding your mind, read a book on art theory, listen to an inspiring podcast, plan how to bring more of your morning self into your day job. The rules are simple but absolute, Lee said. Sleep by 10 p.m. No exceptions. The phone stays in another room. You show up at 5 a.m. even when you feel empty. Especially when you feel empty. That is when you dig the deepest. Do this for 90 days. Then come show me what has bloomed in your sanctuary. The first morning, the alarm was a physical assault. Anya's body, used to late-night scrolling and fitful sleep, screamed in protest. She dragged herself to her small table, opened a blank sketchbook, and just stared. Her mind was a gray, foggy wasteland. This is stupid, the voice said. You have nothing to say. But she remembered Lee, moving with the dawn. She remembered her father's sigh. She put her pencil to paper and made a single, shaky line. Then another. No plan. Just feeling. She drew the exhaustion in her shoulders. The tightness in her jaw. The messy, angry lines slowly became a self-portrait of her frustration. It was ugly. And it was utterly, devastatingly honest. For the first time in years, she had created something true. The first week was a war. She was tired at her desk job. She went to bed feeling like a child while the city still glowed. But a tiny, stubborn flame had been lit. In her morning sanctuary, she began to play. Watercolors she'd never used. Digital brushes with wild textures. She stopped trying to make good art and started making felt art. Joy, rage, nostalgia, peace, it all began to flow onto the pages. Around day 30, something shifted. Waking up became anticipation, not dread. Her sanctuary was no longer a discipline, it was a craving. Her sketchbooks filled. Her social media, once a source of envy, became a quiet, anonymous gallery of her morning work under a pseudonym. The comments started, "This speaks to me. Your use of color is breathtaking. Where can I see more?" Meanwhile, a subtle power emerged in her day job. The confidence from owning her mornings seeped in. In a meeting, when a superior suggested a bland, safe design direction, Anya, for the first time, gently pushed back. "I understand the need for safety, but what if we tried something with more emotional resonance, like this?" She showed a quick thumbnail sketch, inspired by that morning's work. The room went quiet, then the client's eyes lit up. "Yes. That. Do that." On day 78, Anya received a direct message on her anonymous art account. It was from a well-respected indie publisher. "We are compiling an anthology of emerging illustrators. Your work has a unique, raw voice. We would love to feature you and commission a cover piece." Anya's hands trembled. This was the dream, the one she had buried. That evening, she visited Lee, bringing her stack of sketchbooks. She didn't say a word, just placed them on the table. Lee slowly turned the pages. She saw the journey, from shaky, angry lines to confident, explosive color, to subtle, profound compositions. Tears welled in Lee's eyes. "You see," she said softly. "You did not find your voice in the noisy day. You grew it in the silent dawn. Now you are ready to let it sing." Anya accepted the commission. The cover she created became a minor sensation. It led to freelance offers that aligned with her true style. Within a year, she had transitioned to a full-time independent illustrator, her income surpassing her corporate salary. She turned her spare room into a sunlit studio. Every morning, at 5 a.m., Anya is there. Not because she has to be, but because that is where she is. Her clients often marvel at her productivity. "How do you produce such inspired work consistently?" they ask. Anya smiles. "The work doesn't happen between deadlines. It happens before the world wakes up. That's when I meet myself, and we create together." My friend, Anya's story is not about becoming a famous artist. It is about becoming visible, first to yourself, then to the world. That hollow feeling, that sense of being a ghost in your own life, is a signal. It's your true self, begging for airtime. The world will gladly consume all your daylight hours, leaving you with the drained dregs of the evening to try and find yourself. It's a losing game. You must flip the script. The 5 a.m. sanctuary is not about losing sleep. It's about gaining selfhood. It's the daily act of prioritizing your potential before you prioritize anyone else's demands. In that stillness, you are not an employee, a parent, a partner, a responder. You are a creator. You are a strategist. You are you. So here is your challenge, straight from Lee's wisdom. Step 1, the invitation. Tonight, set your alarm for 5 a.m. Place it far from your bed. When it rings, your only mission is to get upright and pour a glass of water. The first victory is verticality. Step 2, define your sanctuary. What is the soul-nourishing work you have abandoned? Is it writing, coding a personal project, strategic planning for your own business, learning an instrument? Decide what you will do in that first sacred hour. Have your tools ready the night before. Step 3, protect the source. Your 5 a.m. self is fueled by your 10 p.m. decisions. Guard your bedtime like the lifeline it is. The late-night drama, the endless stream, the mindless scroll, these are the thieves of your tomorrow's potential. I promise you this, if you protect and use those 2 hours for 90 days with fierce intention, you will not be the same person. Your confidence will have a new, unshakable foundation, the knowledge that no matter what the day takes from you, it can never take what you gave yourself at dawn. Anya had a talent she had buried. You have a gift, a dream, a possibility that is waiting in the wings of your own dawn. Will you hit snooze, and let another sunrise pass where the world gets the best of you, and you get the leftovers? Or will you rise tomorrow, at 5 a.m., and begin the most important meeting of your day, the meeting with the person you are destined to become? The choice, and the power, are waiting for you in the quiet.